everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln, your host for this week's recap of Thoroughbred Racing. Our feature race this week takes us to Santa Anita. The spotlight on the 3-year-olds, one of the big early Derby preps in Southern California. Here are the conditions. San Rafael is Grade 2, the purse more than $157,000 in added money. 1 mile for the sophomores on a fast track. Now, before we go to the field for the San Rafael, the story, though, is a horse that is not running. River Special, this year's Kentucky Derby favorite, John Mabie's Golden Eagles Farms colt. Young trainer Bob Hess has an update on the virus that kept River Special in the barn.
A week ago, yesterday, he came up with a temperature on a Friday night, and we had to treat him with Genocin and a little Bute. And really, after 1 day of that, he's been perfectly sound and had no problems with his lungs or anything, never even coughed. But it caused us a miss at work on a Monday. But we'll rebound, come back on the 14th in the San Felipe, and then jump over to the Santa Anita Derby. Hopefully, those two lead us up to the Kentucky Derby.
Let's take a look now at the field of 6. Lord of the Bay with Corey Black, a big price. Union City with Chris McCarron at 7. Joy of Racing at 22 with the Canadian rider Mickey Walls in. Here are your favorites now. Art of Living at 3-1. Gary Stevens rides. Devoted Brass at 5-1. And the race favorite from the barn of Alan Paulson, Stuka, ridden by Pat Valenzuela. Trevor Denman has the call.
Field for the San Rafael, sent on their way. Joy of Racing was off slowly. Lord of the Bay sprints out of the gate, and Lord of the Bay, like a 6-furlong race here, goes out to the lead at Union City second. Art of Living is racing right there in third. Stuka has caught a little wide into the turn, but showing good speed as well. Now Joy of Racing kicking through at the rail to take 4th place, and the early trailer is Devoted Brass. Past the 3/4 pole, and Lord of the Bay flying out on the lead. Stuka gets up second, and Art of Living right alongside of them. A length and a half back to Joy of Racing in the pink. Union City alongside of him. Only 3 lengths separates those 5, and it's another 5 back to Devoted Brass. 5/8 to run, Lord of the Bay, but he's already been asked to keep up down at the rail. Alongside of him comes Art of Living. Outside of those 2 is Stuka. 3 of them in a line with a half-mile to run. Union City tucked in just behind that leading group, and Joy of Racing in the pink at the rail. Now Devoted Brass is starting to close from behind. 5 off the leaders. 3/8 left to go. Lord of the Bay's trying to hang tough, but he's in deep water. Stuka on the outside, and Art of Living are kicking on. Union City 4th. Devoted Brass starting a big run in the white cap, and the trailer is Joy of Racing. A bunch field has a 1/4 mile to go, and here's Devoted Brass from last to first. They went too fast early. Devoted Brass sat back cutely and now takes the lead. Union City, the one he's going to have to beat. Past the 8th pole they come. Devoted Brass and Kent DeSormo. Union City and Chris McCarron at the rail. What a horse race on our hands here. Devoted Brass and Union City nose and nose in the San Rafael. Devoted Brass gonna get there. Devoted Brass won it from Union City, about 9 back to Stuka in third.
From last to first for Devoted Brass, owned by contractor Don Jordans of British Columbia, a Keeneland sales bargain at $14,000. They said this colt was too crooked to run. Trained by Noble Threewitt and ridden by Kent DeSormo. Devoted Brass by Dixieland Band out of Royal Devotion. Take a look at Kent DeSormo's pobs. Coming to the outside, look, dropped his reins. Had to collect the rein on Devoted Brass and then get his attention back inside the 8th pole to get up for the victory. As they come to the winner's circle, a birthday celebration. Noble Threewitt, his 82nd birthday Wednesday. Kent DeSormo, his 23rd that day. Mickey Rooney celebrates the winner's circle with him. Afterwards, Kent DeSormo talked about his wild ride with the Devoted Brass, winning the San Rafael. Here's what Kent had to say about the victory.
I tell you what, he broke on the money. He was right there with him, and I had to drag him back. He was anxious to go on all the way around the course, and quite frankly, I thought I'd win by about 10 turning for home, and Union City found a new gear somewhere and made a horse race out of it for the fans. Made me nervous as hell, as obviously I was out of control, dropped my reins once actually, and still hung on to win it, so the horse was ready.
Well, now for an analysis of the running of Saturday's San Rafael, let's join Bob Newmeyer.
The San Rafael run last Saturday at Santa Anita Park gives us 3 points to ponder. 1, that grueling Kentucky Derby distance. 2, the fact that pace can often make the race. And 3, that jockey Kent DeSormo is developing into one of our sport's most gifted riders. You know, with the Derby coming up now in just 2 months' time, it's time to think about those 3-year-olds that can get that 1.25 mile distance under classic weight. And the evidence suggests that a talented 3-year-old named Stuka might not be able to do that. We got a glimpse of that a bit in the Hollywood Futurity at 1 1/16 when he chased River Special through fast early fractions, but did not come home in particularly fast time. Yet off a series of scintillating workouts at Hollywood Park, Stuka was held at 3-5 for the San Raphael. Now, in fairness to Stuka, let's watch the start. About 2 or 3 jumps from the opening bell, Stuka did seem to stumble, to lose his natural stride, and jockey Pat Valenzuela had to gather and regain his momentum. Now, as we pick it up on the backside, Stuka is on the extreme outside in a vicious suicide speed duel with 2 others. Lord of the Bay, a 25-1 shot under Corey Black on the rail, and in the middle, Art of Living, 3-1 with Gary Stevens. Smoke was billowing from the teletimer through 22.46 for a quarter, 45.31 at the half, and 110 and a bit for 6 furlongs. It was a speed duel that would destroy Stuka, and Lord of the Bay and Art of Living as well. On the turn with the leaders running on empty, Chris McCarron, patient with Union City for trainer Wayne Lucas, made the 4-wide move, and Kent DeSormo on Devoted Brass was right behind him for trainer Noble Freewit. It was now a 2-horse race, but DeSormo pulled one of the oldest tricks in the book. He ever so subtly drifted McCarron and Union City into the rail, taking away any chance Chris might have to use both left and right-handed whipping. With Union City pinned on the fence, DeSormo now had Devoted Brass in perfect position. And despite losing his reins, it was this gelded son of Dixieland Band with DeSormo that would finish the race in 1:35.13 and send a message that he can finish, so vitally important for legitimate Kentucky Derby contenders. Would the race have been any different had Stuka not stumbled out of the gate, or had he drawn an inside post? Who knows? But what we do know is Devoted Brass is a legitimate contender who can finish, and jockey Kent DeSormo is one of the best riders in the world.
From our friends at the Blood Horse, an update on another 3-year-old star. Last year's 2-year-old champion colt, Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner Gilded Time, is officially out of the running for this year's Triple Crown. Trainer Darrell Vienna has pulled the colt out of training and prescribed an extensive diagnostic examination of his troubled left front foot. The unbeaten son of Timeless Moment worked 3/8 of a mile on Saturday at Santa Anita, but was sore the next day. Gilded Time will be out for at least 6 months, and that means that for the 14th straight year, the previous season's 2-year-old champion will not win the Kentucky Derby. Well, now let's take a look at this week's second Thoroughbred Racing Communications national poll of the top 10 ranked thoroughbreds. The Daily Racing Form Thoroughbred Digest is brought to you by America's Turf Authority, the Daily Racing Form. We continue on now with our coverage of the 3-year-olds, those classic hopefuls on the digest. Let's go to Florida now. Gulfstream Park for the Grade 2, 1 1/16 Fountain of Youth Stakes. It's the last major prep there before the March 20th Florida Derby. The Fountain of Youth was split into 2 divisions this year, each worth $188,000. The reason? Simple, no dominant sophomores in South Florida, so everybody wanted to take a shot. Let's start with the second division, considered to be the most competitive. Featuring Breeders' Cup Juvenile runner-up, it's a little-known fact. Last year's hopeful stakes winner, Great Navigator, who was on the lead from the break. Following him, though, the actual race favorite, the undefeated Storm Tower, is Ross Morton at Gulfstream.
The half and 48. They move toward the quarter pole. And Storm Tower will now go up and engage Great Navigator. And these two in a tussle on the front end. They're hits apart for the lead. There's 4 lengths back to Somerset. Tunicky Charlie on the rail. They turn for home. Great Navigator all out. But Storm Tower now goes to the front to take the lead. And Storm Tower is for real. Storm Tower with Rick Wilson draws away from the field. Opens up by 2. Great Navigator second, and from far back, Kiss and Chris third.
Mark it down, Storm Tower, a new Kentucky Derby contender, and he established himself that way in his first stakes effort here, putting away Great Navigator, and it's a little-known fact with ease in that second division of the Fountain of Youth. The undefeated son of Irish Tower came into the Fountain of Youth off 2 allowance victories at Gulfstream. They were both mighty impressive, though, combined winning margin of 7 lengths. Storm Tower trained by Ben Perkins Jr. for Charmari Stable, ridden by Rick Wilson. Now let's go to the first division of the Fountain of Youth, and another easy winner. On the lead and on the rail, that's Duke de Slagaville, who upset the favorites Silver as Silver and Woods of Windsor, leading by as many as 4 lengths through the stretch. Bull in the Heather makes a late charge at the end, but it was still Duke Deslageville, officially by 2 1/4 lengths at the wire under jockey Julie Crone. Following those two in was the betting favorite, Silver is Silver, while Woods of Windsor disappointed, finishing 7th. The Fountain of Youth was the winner's 3rd victory in 10 starts, also the 3rd winner of the day for jockey Crone. A lot of speculation this first division of the race wasn't that tough. Julie didn't see it that way.
Well, I think the racing form tells more than anything. Both divisions are, nobody knows what level the horses are at right now. They've all gone through their maiden and their A other thens and their 2 other thens, and you don't know what's coming up. And, they all have things to prove today and can go places, and nobody knows what's going to happen in horse racing, and that's one of the good things about it.
Let's go back to Santa Anita now for a 3-year-old event run last Wednesday in Arcadia, the Bolsa Chica Stakes. Won impressively by the 15-1 long shot here, Concept Win, a son of 1986 grass champion Manila. The colt, who was the 2nd highest price in the field, went to the front early, stayed there all the way to the wire under jockey Gary Stevens. Following him in, the even money favorite Fort Chaffee, trained by Dwayne Lucas, then Moscow Changes. The Bolsa Chica was Concept Win's 2nd victory in 4 lifetime starts, the $47,000 winner's share, boosting his career earnings over the $70,000 mark for trainer W.L. Proctor and Glen Hill Farm. Aboard Concept Win, jockey Gary Stevens, you see here. He had 3 winners last Wednesday. Back to Florida now to see 3-year-old fillies compete in the mile and 70-yard Devona Dale. Another Breeders' Cup runner-up on the Gulfstream track here. Juvenile fillies 2nd place finisher Boots and Jackie, currently 2nd on the outside under Mike Lee.
3/4 and 113. They come to the top of the stretch, and now set to a drive by Michael Lee as Boots and Jackie up on the outside. Lunar Spook fights off the challenge. Segrin putting in a run. Inner Glory into the rail. They're in mid-stretch, and Lunar Spook with Mark Guidry begins to draw away. They're in deep stretch. It's Lunar Spook going away by 4. Boots and Jackie 2nd, and Inner Glory 3rd.
The even money favorite Boots and Jackie remains winless in 93 as Lunar Spook gallops home to win by 5 under jockey Mark Guidry. Behind them, the Scotty Schulhofer train In Her Glory finished 3rd. The gray Lunar Spook is a January foal by Silver Ghost out of the mare Raphael Luna. The Florida bred filly trained by Bert Saunier for Sandbar Farm. We head north now, up the East Coast to New York, where 3-year-old fillies were also in action in the 6-furlong Ruthless Stakes at Aqueduct. The 2-5 favorite, Roman Rachel, on the outside in the blue, the 3, now making her move as they approach the turn. Let's pick up the call now with Tom Durkin from Aqueduct.
Really is anyone's race as they come to the top of the stretch. Chris Antley confident with Roman Rachel on the outside, and now they sit down for the drive and take the lead. Nice Crane down on the rail is running 2nd now as Roman Rachel rolls by 5.
Try on her stables Roman Rachel, a $22,000 Keeneland sale purchase, a daughter of a sprinter who had a short but sweet career in New York mining. She's definitely a class here in the Ruthless, winning by 7 under Chris Antley. The winning trainer, Shug McGee, is the same man who conditioned her father mining during his career. The next start for Roman Rachel expected to be the March 21st Comley Stakes at Aqueduct. Let's get back to the races here on the Digest. Now, you've seen what the 3-year-olds have been up to. Let's take a look now at the stakes action featuring the older horses. And we'll start with the weekend's richest event, the $300,000 Grade 1 Santa Margarita Handicap. The race marked the 2nd start this year for the champion mare Passiana, beaten in her first out of the February 6th Santa Maria. Passiana's in the white and blue on the inside, being challenged by Southern Truce. She's giving 10 pounds away to Southern Truce.
Passiana's got her ears cocked now, just waiting for the signal to kick on. Southern Truce hanging tough on her outside. Then Avian Assembly, Interactive. Geezer is going well enough just behind them. Then Campanard, Ali's Ballas far back. They come for home in a Santa Margarita. Chris McCarron now asks Passiana to run. She kicks on, but what a run from Southern Truce up alongside. Passiana, McCarron just dropped the rein. He gets it back up again. Southern Truce on the outside, and Geezer's coming late. Southern Truce, Passiana. Southern Truce, a nose to Passiana. They're going to hit the wire together. Southern Truce.
Passiana upset again. First it was Kent de Soma, the San Rafael. Now watch here on the inside. Chris McCarron drops the reins on Passiana. A mistake that very well could have cost his mount the win in the Santa Margarita. The mare that beat the Regal Passiana, Southern Truce, to her outside here, is a former claimer. trainer Roger Stein picked up for $16,000 in 1991. Now she wins the prestigious Santa Margarita, boosting her earnings to over $433,000 with 15 wins in 27 career starts. Another of last year's stars returned to the races this weekend. Multiple graded stakes winner Mrs. Mirage won by 3 as the 1-5 favorite in Saturday's correction handicap at Aqueduct. The Alan Jerkins trainee earned just over $40,000 for her efforts. Following Saturday's correction handicap at Aqueduct came a race that had previously been snowed out, the 6-furlong Sporting Plate Handicap. Wire-to-wire winner here was Big Jewel in the red silks in the front. His second straight victory for the Outlaw Biker Stable and trainer Juan Seri. Big Jewel, ridden here by Joe Bravo, won as the 8-5 favorite, beating long shot Club de Noche by 3/4 of a length. Robert Perez's X-Ray followed them in for the show spot. Big Jewel is a 5-year-old gelding by Winwright out of Ray Hobbs' Treasure. We'll finish our recap now, heading to Hot Springs, Arkansas, and Oak Lawn Park with a prep for the April 10th Oak Lawn Handicap. You're watching the 1/16 Essex Handicap, won by the horse moving through on the inside now. That's Delafield. The Essex was the gelding's 5th win in 11 career starts for trainer Peter Vestal and December Hill Farm. But perhaps the biggest story here is that Delafield's rider Pat Day won 5 on Saturday, pushing his number of wins at Oak Lawn this meeting to 48, more than double his next closest competitor. Delafield, a $42,000 Keeneland sale purchase, is now being pointed for the $750,000 Oak Lawn Handicap. Well, as we go to the break, here's some of the racing art from Peb, and it shows in this sport who's really number one. The horse, of course. Officials of Breeders' Cup Limited have announced host track sites for the next 3 Breeders' Cups, including one new site in the series that will take racing's championship day out of this country for the first time. Breeders' Cup 10, of course, is coming up November 6th, Santa Anita's Oak Tree Meeting in Southern California. Then in 1994, the Breeders' Cup returns for the 3rd time to Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky. They were the host track in 1988 and 1991. In 1995, the Breeders' Cup moves back to New York, to Belmont Park. The big New York track hosted the event in 1990. And in 1996, the Breeders' Cup goes north across the border to Toronto, Canada's Woodbine Racecourse. Louisville, Kentucky, New York, and Toronto, Canada, the sites for the 1994 through 1996 Breeders' Cups. Well, it's not often that a professional athlete can battle back not once, not twice, but 3 times from serious injuries to return to the top level of his game. Dave Bruner has the story of a remarkable race rider who has done just that.
The last time a national audience saw Randy Romero was in the 1990 Breeders' Cup during Gopher Juan's fatal distaff. The fall fractured Randy's shoulder and cracked 8 of his ribs. He had barely recovered from that tragedy when just a few months later, he broke his left elbow in a training accident at Gulfstream Park, a break that refused to heal properly, keeping Randy on the sidelines for another 1.5 years until September of 1992.
The frustration was unbearable. I was staying up to 4 hours a day in the gym just to keep my mind occupied. And what my wife went through is even more, you know, on her. I was so athletic and activity, and I used to do so much and ride, and just like you pull the carpet underneath your feet and you just fall on your face.
Romero has been sidelined numerous times due to broken bones, but back in 1983, he was badly burned in a freak accident involving the jockey's hot box at Oak Lawn Park. It was by far the most painful injury of his career. Still, he was able to return to riding in only 15 weeks, a fraction of the time he's been away due to an uncooperative arm.
You know, from being out as long as I did, the hardest thing to do is get the clientele. You know, I've been out of action for so long, and it's just hard to drop these riders that have been on these horses for a while. You just got to stay healthy. That's the battle of my career, is to stay healthy. I've been through a lot. You know, I've probably operated 23, 24 times, you know. But I think I have it all behind me now.
And so do some of the country's top trainers, including Frankie Brothers, who's given Randy many of his winning mounts, like Barkerville in this year's Tropical Park Handicap at Calder.
I would say I think he looks better than I've ever seen him look. He's stronger. He's one of the most energetic riders. that I've ever been around, and he's really done well, and I was just kind of happy to be a part of his comeback, you know, when he rode Barkerville over at Calder, which kind of helped him to get started here in Florida.
But Romero's first big win actually came aboard Chief Honcho in last November's Grade 1 Brooklyn Handicap at New York's Aqueduct Racetrack. The win brought a long overdue Randy back into the national spotlight, a place he loves like no other.
I love to fish and hunt, and I always thought that was the thing, you know? Because when I was a kid, I did it. But you can do so much of it, and after a while, you get tired of it. But you do something you love, you never get tired of it. And this is my life. You know, these horses, I've been doing this since I was 8 years old. I don't know anything else. And I love it. I really do. It's in my blood.
Well, looking ahead this weekend in thoroughbred racing, no question the headline event is Saturday, the $1 Million Santa Anita Handicap in Southern California. It features the nation's top-ranked thoroughbred, Best Pal. He is the defending champion. He'll try to become the first back-to-back winner since John Henry did it in 1981 and 1982. At Oakland on Saturday, another big 3-year-old Derby prep. It's the Southwest Stakes, expected to feature the first start of Lob Lolly Stables' top 3-year-old, Dalhart. And Sunday, the $200,000 Santa Anita Oaks for 3-year-old fillies. In Northern California, Golden Gate, the $100,000 Sausalito Stakes for 3-year-olds. And a reminder, next week only an early time for us on the Digest, Monday at 3:30 Eastern. Be sure to join us then. We'll have a recap of the big cap. So long, everyone. Good luck at the races. The Daily Racing Form Thoroughbred Digest has been brought to you by America's Turf Authority, the Daily Racing Form, and by the Illinois Department of Agriculture, promoting Illinois-bred horses year-round. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 700 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4-CARS. Accommodations provided by DoubleTree Hotels, 1-800-222-TREE. It's a smart call. This has been an ESPN Sports presentation in association with Winter Communications.